Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I'm Hortensia Carty, and welcome to our Thursday morning show here at Good Morning SKN. We begin this morning with the latest in local news. This from Wind Media SKN. Two young men from St. Kitts and Nevis will represent the Federation at the world-renowned International Music Camp in North Dakota. A Facebook post on the St. Kitts Department of Youth Empowerment page shared the names of the young men: Jamari Isaac of Washington Archibald High School, a 15-year-old vocalist, and 17-year-old musician Colin Norford Jr. of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College. Auditions were held in St. Kitts on April 3rd at Warner Park, where Isaac and Norford secured their spots. The camp hosts a one-week summer camp program in dance, creative writing, painting, drawing, theater, and several other fine arts disciplines in June and July. An international youth cultural exchange program will be held this summer in North Dakota for music students between the ages of 14 through 18, which covers the areas of band, musical theater, choir, piano, guitar, jazz band, vocal jazz, orchestra, and more. A staff of 150 plus artists, teachers, internationally noted guest conductors, and outstanding clinicians from the United States and Canada will provide instructions to students worldwide.
All right, great opportunity. I know Colin Norford Jr., so this is great. I'm happy that he's going to be part of that. All right, moving on to news from SKNIS. New equipment related to ophthalmology, dialysis, treatment, mammograms, and ultrasound are now online or are expected to come online in the coming weeks, as the government of St. Kitts and Nevis undertakes significant upgrades to improve healthcare. Most recently procured equipment is a state-of-the-art microscope for the ophthalmic unit at the Joseph and France General Hospital. Dr. Jensen Morton said the microscope was essential for eye surgeries that ceased in July of 2022. The purchase also included machines to conduct ophthalmic ultrasounds, surgical equipment, and anesthetic equipment for eye surgeries, computer systems, software, and new dialysis machines. All of the equipment and software are already at the Joseph and France General Hospital and are being configured. Dr. Morton said that the service would be fully available shortly. Dr. Morton said that the equipment is part of the government's efforts to enhance healthcare positively. Training initiatives are also taking place in areas such as customer service, leadership, and more to strengthen human resources.
We continue now. Our story comes from SKNIS. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has released another report with updates on projections for the Caribbean region and for St. Kitts and Nevis. In 2022, gross domestic product GDP for the Caribbean grew by 13.4%, with projections for 2023 and 2024 being 9.9% and 14.1% respectively. Focusing on St. Kitts and Nevis, according to the IMF projections, the Federation will record economic growth of 4.5% in 2023. The projections given in their earlier report. However, growth is expected to retract to 3.8% in 2024. The IMF said the Federation's economy, while on the regional frontier, faced headwinds in the last couple of years, suggesting a need to improve the competitiveness of the labor market that currently has stagnant labor productivity and disconnection between wage and labor productivity growth across the sectors. Across the region, growth is similar in other territories. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is predicted to have a 6% economic growth in 2023, retracting to 5% in 2024.
Time now for a check of our local weather. There will be light rain showers with a high of 80 and a low of 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That's your weather for today. Take a look at your forecast as we head to a break. More JMSKN on the other side.
cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom. No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Time now for regional news from CXC's Council by way of press release. On Monday, March 27, 2023, the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, hosted CXC at 50, the Pioneers Viewpoint, at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in Kingston, Jamaica. As CXC continues to host a series of events during the year of its 50th anniversary, the organization has invited regional and international partners to join in celebrating its Golden Jubilee. Sharing in the occasion were Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Chairman of CXC, and Dr. Wayne Wesley, Registrar and CEO of CXC. Highlighting the significance of the event, Sir Hilary remarked, quote, "We are perfectly clear on the historical past. We now have to focus on leading the institution into an even more glorious future, and we have all the skills to do that," end quote. During the event, invited guests were treated to a guided tour of the historical past by the storytellers who helped shape what has become a 50-year Caribbean success story. In reflecting on the extraordinary nature of the event, Dr. Wesley, Registrar and CEO of CXC, described it as the Council's celebration of Thanksgiving, honoring the past, recognizing the present, and envisioning the future.
On the international scene, our news comes from Global News. A Chinese woman has become the first person to die from a type of bird flu that is rare in humans, the World Health Organization said, but the strain does not appear to spread between people. The 56-year-old woman from the southern province of Guangdong was the third person known to have been infected with the H3N8 subtype of avian influenza, the World Health Organization said in a statement late on Tuesday. All of the cases have been in China, with the first 2 cases reported last year. The patient had multiple underlying conditions, said the World Health Organization, and a history of exposure to live poultry. Sporadic infections in people with bird flu are common in China, where avian flu viruses constantly circulate in huge poultry and wild bird populations. Monitoring of all avian influenza viruses is considered important given their ability to evolve and cause a pandemic. No, we don't need any more pandemics at this time. Sorry to hear about this woman. Condolences to her and her family. I hope this stays under control. Well, folks, there you have it for the latest for regional and international news. We have so much in store for you today. See you on the other side of this short break.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
It's your boy N Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moen Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. On April 6th, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, officially declared the rollout of the Graduate Finance Project. Since its announcement, the news about the project has been widely shared by locals. Here are some excerpts from an article that gives the account. So the first is that the interest rate on student loans accessed through the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis for new students has been reduced to 5% per annum. When a reduction is good.
Big one too.
Yeah.
Because it was 9 before. As I was saying before we started, I needed a calculator to really calculate the difference because, wow.
Yes, I mean, that was a time in students' lives when a lot of things could be in flux and it could affect the way that you live after you study. Yeah. So it's a really good initiative to help lower the cost of getting a student loan, generally.
But would you know, in a sense, if it has always been 9% or it was just raised over the years because of cost?
That I'm not sure. I think that there was a time when it was even higher than that. And so I think they've gone through some reductions.
So how can it be higher than that? And we want to encourage our local populace to go and study. And we know this is the bank that most people go to. Well,
it is the bank that most people go to, definitely, because there is no need for security. Some of the other banks require you to have security. So in this way, I guess this is just making it easier for students to go because you're talking about a reduced rate. It's already easy enough if you have guarantors, but this really does facilitate educational excellence.
Sure does. And the second point says the intention is to ensure graduates can live and plan for better lives. The Graduate Finance Project offers 5% interest on a maximum of 100,000. So you have to take 100,000, basically.
Well, it's up to 100,000.
Okay. So for a grace period of 4.25 years with a 15-year repayment. Wait, so you have to take up to 100,000 for 4.25 year.
No, what it's saying effectively is that you can take up to 100,000 for the cost of your studies, but for the first 4 and whatever that period is, 4.25 years after you've actually taken the loan, you don't. How do I put it to you?
You don't have to pay anything?
Well, based on what else you have to read, I think you should finish it and then you'll understand it better.
All right. So the intention is to ensure the graduates can live and plan for better lives. The Graduate Finance Project offers 5% interest on a maximum of EC $100,000 for a grace period of 4.25 years with a 15-year repayment term. It also includes an EC $15,000 credit to serve the student loan during that period, which eliminates the payment of interest for the 4 years. Under this new policy, students will now save up to EC $50,000 or more.
All right, so does that make sense? Effectively, that grace period is accounted for because interest generally is payable once you take the loan. But you have that grace period, that $15,000 is embedded in that $100,000 maximum that you can take. And so there's enough money set aside to ensure that your interest is paid without having to worry about that for that 4.5 year period. Or 4.25 year period while you're studying because some studies take up to 4 years. So.
Wow. Imagine now saving, but do we see these monies that they say? It's like I have to do this like to see that I can save $50,000 because it sounds nice on paper, but do you actually amass that? I would like to speak to somebody who would have taken a loan well, know that it is at this percentage and ask them, did you manage to save a 50,000 or more?
I don't think that they're going to see it that way, but they're definitely not putting it into the bank. So that is room for, I mean, you have money that you can do other things with, which he goes on to say exactly what those things might be. As we continue with the excerpt, it continues, with reduced rates, the Prime Minister hopes there will be some flexibility in graduates' ability to create wealth without the burden of long-standing and hefty student loans. So you don't have to be bogged down effectively by, as he said, long-standing or, well, yeah, a hefty, let's call it a hefty student loan, because you do have 15 years in which to repay it. So, but at least it shouldn't be, with the reduced interest, it shouldn't be at the amount that it would typically be.
Yes.
So you're still saving, it's counted for up to perhaps $50,000, however they work their calculations out. And so you're still saving, so maybe that money can be used for other things.
Yeah.
There is some flexibility to create wealth, so you can do other things with it.
I wonder if they have a savings account attached to this. Because I also read somewhere that now that it is less, that you can pay up more. Because when you could probably push and still pay the 9%, very well knowing you have 5%.
Yeah.
Just to get it off of your hands.
Precisely.
Quicker. So so that he says, you can get rid of the loan and you can start creating your wealth. So Dr. Drew also said, and quote, typically students return from their studies with high interest rates and terms that delay important life events such as building their own homes or purchasing a vehicle, and so choose to remain at home with their parents to help ease the financial strain. Are they easing the strain? Because if they have to put most of their money that they're making to that loan, they're still dependent on their parents. So it can be challenging for someone to handle both a mortgage payment and a student loan payment. But not if it's consolidated, you think? Starting off might be tough.
Yeah, but you're still talking about dollars and cents, right? So you're saving the amount of money that you have to devote towards that. So maybe not if you consolidate it, but not many people will, because maybe they won't even qualify for a mortgage with a hefty student loan.
Yeah, well, but you gave me that loan, so you should help me out.
Ah, you think so?
Oh man. So having debt can also make it hard to qualify for a mortgage in the first place. Jamie, you just mentioned that. So home ownership is one of the largest areas of wealth. So delaying the purchase of a home has a major effect on a student borrower's ability to increase his or her wealth. Reduction of the student loan interest rate to 5% in addition to the credit offer will ease the student's finance commitments. It
definitely should. Definitely should. As I said before, and you indicated that as well, when it comes to what a graduate can do concerning, going on with your life. Do you want to buy a car? Do you want to buy a house? Do you qualify for it? The debt service ratio, as far as I know it to be, is 45% of your income. Now, you've come back from school, you may or may not get a job in the climate, depending on what it is, then you have to service your loan. And considering that you might have had to service it when you were away, perhaps not being employed, then your interest is going to be added to that. And so you'd still have to pay that off. So I think that this is a good initiative concerning students, and it should encourage a lot of people to take advantage of the opportunity that they might not have without it.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at this because we already shared our thoughts on the project. How do you think the financial support will support the country as a whole? Do you think more persons are going to pursue their studies now? Do you think we're going to have an increased number of home owners? I would hope that the bank is offering something that says, once you come back from school, we're going to give you this much as well, so you can start your life off, you can get a house and a car, and we consolidate everything, and now you pay for one thing.
Yeah, you see, I'm a little different in that vein, and I don't know if it's the way that I compute interest or the way that I compute time. But when we talk about consolidation, the monthly payments are less, but the period over which one has to pay would be more.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, how long do you actually want to be in debt? And so that's the kicker for me, right?
I don't understand. We came into this world to constantly be in debt, because you say get an education to be better at what you do, or getting education will help you to get a better pay. But then getting a better pay means I have to pay back everything to you. So
yeah. Well, that's why when you're pursuing certain courses, you've got to be mindful of how it fits into the landscape of the country. Because, for instance, obviously well, to your point, you were discussing before, do I think it will support the country as a whole? How do I think it will do that? Definitely, I think more people will go to study. I know in the past, and this was the point that I was getting to, we had specific areas that we were encouraging students to go to study. I think there might have been some issues or not as to the payment of economic costs, because the government still pays economic costs for students who actually go to the University of the West Indies, for instance. Okay. So they pay the economic cost for that, which amounted to, I don't want to state the wrong figure, but somehow I think it was about 66% of the tuition and all of that. So it is affordable. This makes it more affordable because living expenses is one of the things that drives up the cost. If you are overseas and you have to pay for housing and you have to pay for food, you have to pay for books, which really isn't that expensive, but the other things are, because you're not at home under a familiar roof that somebody else can pay the rent or mortgage for, then you know, it becomes daunting when you think about all these things. And so I think this is a good way of dealing with that. While you're doing those things overseas, of course, you no longer have to concentrate on paying interest. So again, you can concentrate on studying, which is what you're supposed to do, and hopefully come back and make a meaningful contribution to society.
But it also speaks to owning a home. Why is owning a home so important?
I believe that historically, and I think I've said it before, historically, because we've been deprived of land, then it is our birthright, so to speak, as nationals of St. Kitts. And so we want to know that we have not only a piece of the rock as people symbolize it, but we want to know that we have the security that comes with it. Because if you have a home, then you can use that home as security for other things that you need, not to mention the security in and of itself of knowing that no one can displace you. So those things are important.
I'm just think we just want to be in debt. That's how I see it. But I'm happy that the interest rate has been reduced so that students that want to take the opportunity to go away and further their studies, they can now do it. And I'm sure their parents will be able to handle a 5%, because let's say their parents have their own home, the equity they have in that home, they can put up as collateral for them too.
If they need to, but yes, they need to.
Wow. But great project. Thank you to the new administration for speaking on it and seeing it through. So some things are happening. It just has to take time, as we mentioned yesterday. We don't see it. Yes, it's happening. So students, for those of you who are eager to go and further your studies, here's your chance. And you won't be coming back to a broke life. You can be guaranteed some money in your pocket.
And on that note, we will take a break. We'll be back with more Good Morning SKN.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
各位朋友，大家好. Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Our first guest is the owner and personal concierge of Services Yacht Agency. I don't know why I always say that word. Ricky Brown. Ricky, good morning and welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure indeed. Now, when did you conceptualize this idea to start a yacht service in St. Kitts?
How did I know this was going to be the first question? Well, it happened just before 2007. I basically, I've known all this time that I wanted to work for myself, and I'm a spiritual person. So I had a conversation with God, and I said, God, what can I do that I would love to do and wake up every morning wanting to do? I said, just lead me, right? And I was at the television. It was not on. I put the television on. And for some reason, I didn't have the inclination to change the channel. But what was on was a gentleman being interviewed, but he followed wealthy people on their private jets. And he writes the biography.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh God, this is not me writing and all that, So I'm having a conversation, and I'm hearing, leave the channel, look at it. So I obeyed. At the end of it, I then said to God, I don't understand. This is about writing. That's not me. And I turned the TV off. Almost immediately after, I heard a voice say, you were just looking at someone who was dealing with people who are traveling on private jets, super yachts. Just like that. The yachting industry, there is no one individual servicing the yachting industry in St. Kitts. That was the wow moment for me. I was like, wow, okay. And that's how it started. So I immediately, at that time, Jason Kelsick was in charge of UDC at that time. I knew Jason well. And so I went down and I had a brief conversation with Jason. And I said, ask him some questions. What do you guys do at the marina? And, and he explained. And he said, Ricky, why are you asking these questions? What do you have in mind? I said, well, I'm thinking about doing a concierge service for the yachting industry. He said, Ricky, that is brilliant. That is very much needed. But we don't offer that. We just basically do the servicing at the marina. Yes. But you do have clients that would come and they would ask for additional services. All we can do is basically just call a taxi driver and have them assist them in that regard. So, he said, just bring some information. And of course, we'll assist you if anyone came and wanted additional services out of the marina, then we'll just contact you. And that's how I got started.
So from idea to, let's say, affirmation, confirmation to implementation.
That's right.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. So this is very interesting. That's a very interesting name, by the way. And I can read the tagline from here. It reads "The Way Forward." Tell us how you came up with not only the logo, which I think is a yacht itself, very interesting, but the name and the tagline.
Right. Services, because I knew in the concierge business, you are basically handling a client or clients and you're doing multiple services for them. And so that is how the name services came about. But I said, no, you have to spell the name with a twist. Can't be SERVICE. Yes. And so that is how services came about, because I know I'll be doing multiple things for the client. And so that's basically how I came up with the word services. I looked at it as a parent company, and any other thing can come up, beneath that.
Brilliant. And the tagline?
The way forward. Yachting industry. I knew that I was the first individual here to do that. And so I looked at it as the yachting concierge service, the way forward.
Lovely. Do you know of any other person that's in this particular career?
Yes. Okay. One other individual who's doing it on a large scale, the concierge service, as well as St. Kitts services.
Okay.
All right, specifically, let's talk about the services of services.
Okay. It ranges from clearance. Let me just give you a walkthrough of how it would begin and perhaps end. The captain or the purser, one who does the administrative work, would contact you. We are advertised in what is called the Yachter's Guide.
I see that. Right. Congratulations.
Yes, so it's no local advertising because the clientele is not from here. Okay. We deal strictly with super yachts or mega yachts, charters, and so they would call and they would look in the guide and see who offers the services, and it ranges from clearance, inbound clearance, so basically making sure that they are here legally. So it involves customs, immigration. If it's a situation where a visa is required, so then I need to have them apply for the visa prior to coming. When they get here, I deal with everything for them seamlessly. So the captain basically takes care of his guests, his crew. I handle all of the onshore excursions from the clearance. They might need an island tour. They might want to perhaps go for dinner, ranges, volcano, bike tours, anything you can think about that they might want to do while they're on the island. I just make it happen without them realizing what's going on.
I like that as a tagline as well for the next one.
I make it happen without them knowing what's going on.
Yes.
So, Ricky, let me ask you, how did you manage? I ask everybody this during the pandemic because that is a tourism business. How did you manage?
I just managed.
You just managed?
I mean, there was nothing.
Wow.
It was closed. The borders were closed. And so you just have to, make do. I mean, the pandemic is a unique situation because outside of the pandemic, I do personal concierge services. And assist with marketing and stuff for companies. So, but the pandemic, you had lockdown, we were locked down. So basically there was no movement. Apart from there being no movement internally, surely there was no movement, as the borders are concerned. So that was a tough moment, I think, for everyone, and especially those persons who have been involved in the tourism industry. But thank God now, things have turned around, and hopefully we are on that trajectory for some more success.
All right, so I do have to ask you, because obviously in reading about you, your past seems to inform what you did, and then that, again, tagline, which strikes me, the way forward.
Right.
It should paint a picture as to where you see the business going, where you see yourself going. So let's talk about how you think your past informed your present.
Good question. I've always been a people person. I've always helping people. Didn't quite understood, at a younger age, what the professional meaning to it was. But it's only after, you have grown and start doing things and you become more educated, you realize, wow, you've probably been a concierge all your life, you know? And so making things happen for someone else is the greatest joy for me. And I've been fortunate enough to have this niche market where I deal with affluent, very demanding clientele. It's not like the ordinary, as you would imagine. It's just a different world, completely different ball game, and there is no ifs or maybe about it. You just have to understand that there is another way of living and try to understand their way of living and try to meet their needs because it's there.
What has been the most challenging experience you would have had and the most rewarding?
The most challenging experience, I would have to say, is when the client asks for something and it's not available on the island and perhaps not with the neighboring islands. Okay. That's the most challenging. The most rewarding is when I can, at the end of the service, hear the client says, or most of the captain, Ricky, thanks for your service. The guests, they were extremely happy, and you'll be hearing from us again.
Jimmy, before we continue, I have to ask Ricky this one question. You are part of the USSA. How did you get there? What did you do? Tell us about that.
Yes.
Congratulations, by the way.
Well, thank you. Yes. Being in the yachting industry, and because it's not a local program or business per se, it makes sense for you to travel and go to what you call the boat shows. Okay. So I have, over the years, I've started this since 2007. Yeah. So it's like 16 years. So over the years, I've been to the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, the Antigua Boat Show, St. Martin, just to name a few. And being exposed to those shows, you know, you meet different people, you meet people who are working in the industry. And so you get to understand what you need to do. When you go to the boat shows, of course, you have vendors who are selling themselves, etc. And so the USSA, of course, had their booth, and I thought it would be interesting and it would be beneficial to be a part of the US Super Yacht Association. And so I applied, and yeah, I was accepted as a member. So I have the plaque and the seal.
Wow, nice! Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, so I can imagine that will do wonders for services, do wonders for you. Let's talk about that.
Yes, because you know, the captains, they would look at the information and they would recognize, okay, he's a part of the US Yacht Association. So I think that sort of put an edge, you know, and so it has word of mouth. That is one of the biggest pluses in this industry. One captain will speak to the other, and he knows, well, I went to St. Kitts, you know, I dealt with this individual, there's this company, and you know, they offer excellent service. And also, being in the Super Yacht Guide as well, you have to be referred to be in the Super Yacht Guide.
You don't say.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. I mean, you have different vendors in the Super Yacht Guide, but someone has to refer you.
So it has to be, per se, a captain?
It has to be like a captain. Yes. Yes. That was a shocker for me, right? But fortunately for me, I got along with the captains, and he actually said, one of the captains said to me, Ricky, you need to get into the Super Yacht Guide. That this is what we call the Yachter's Bible. This is what we carry around.
It does look so
the Yachter's Bible. Yeah. This is how we know what we're going to do wherever we are and who we're going to contact. And so he was instrumental in referring me and getting me into the guide.
Nice. Lovely. So let's talk about the accolades the other accolades you would have received throughout the years in business, and how has your business basically evolved through the years?
Okay. Well, I started out, fortunately for me, my first yacht, the size was just over 100 feet. And of course, it grew over the years because you then start to advertise in the book. That captain will tell another captain, and of course, the size of the vessel then increases. And it does help. Financially and otherwise, you're exposed to more people who will be coming on these yachts. Motor Yacht Rising Sun, that's my client. Okay. That yacht's been here for over a month.
That's a big white.
That's a big white yacht.
Okay. Nice.
That's owned by David Geffen, New York billionaire David Geffen, Geffen Records. So he's been my client for over a decade. I think the last time he was here prior to the pandemic would have been, I think, 2018, if my memory serves me, right? So having clients like that staying with you, for long term, I think speaks volume, and it speaks for itself, because those clientele, they don't accept mediocrity. That's just the harsh reality, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah.
And so you have to have your A game on all the time. I'll give you an example. For instance, one might say to me, the captain might say to me, listen, Ricky, the guests want to go for a tour. Can you have a driver standing by at 10 a.m.? They'll be out about, they'll be out about 11 a.m. The driver has to be at 10, they're at 10, and he waits. 11, it's no show. 12, 1 o'clock, no show. 2 o'clock, no show. 2:30, he calls. He says, Ricky, I apologize, but the guest has changed their minds. So speak to the driver, and you can relieve him. But he's there for 4 or 5 hours. Of course, he submits his invoice, and he gets paid. So you get paid just to sit around, perhaps look at your phone.
Just be on call.
But you have to be there.
Okay.
It's not a situation where what's not accepted is when you're supposed to be standing by, and that driver decides, I am going to make a run and pick up a friend and drop him or her off, and then the client comes out.
No driver.
And the driver is not there.
That's always the case. How the world works.
Oh, yeah, no, the driver is not there. I don't think you're going to get that vessel again, unless everything else was like perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, it's another world. It's really another world.
That's a great world for you. It's a great world to be in. I imagine you need a certain temperament to be part of it, but it does teach you a lot of things.
The drivers, the drivers have to understand the industry.
Yeah.
And I basically would say to them, listen, you're on standby. So which means you have to stay here. So I work with certain drivers who understand the industry, and it works perfectly.
Good to know. Well, Ricky, I love the way you shed light on this industry and what you've been able to do with it. I want to thank you for coming by and doing that with us, because it really is important to get to know the people on the ground who are making St. Kitts and Nevis great, and you are definitely one of those people. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Our pleasure as well. All right, we'll be back in a moment with more Good Morning SKN. Stay tuned.
it.
An exotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao bango.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
All right, welcome back to Good Morning SKN. The little-known mathematician and physicist Isaac Newton. Yeah, right, like he's a little known. The well-known mathematician and physicist Isaac Newton developed 3 laws of motion, which basically describe the relationship between the motion of an object and the forces acting upon it. However, these laws can also be applied outside of the physical world, and today we'll be looking at his 3rd law and applying it. So here's what it states. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. All right, so I'll give you my first thoughts on this quote, physically and otherwise. Physically, well, I taught physics, that's my disclaimer, so I'll tell you that. When we think of equal and opposite reactions, the chair that you're sitting on right now, you are supported by it because although your weight is acting downwards, there is an equal and opposite reaction acting upon it, which explains why you are not moving in any direction. So there is a balancing act, so to speak. Everything equalizes the opposite force. So in applying this to real life, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The thing that you do will how do I say this? When you do something, there will be a reaction for it. Even when you don't do something, there will be a reaction for it. The question is, are you aware of what you were doing so that you anticipate the reaction, or do you think that there will never be a reaction for what you do or don't do?
No, because we normally throw this phrase around loosely. For every action, there's a reaction, right? So we know that if we don't do, okay, I'm going to use school. If we don't complete the assignment and submit it on time, that's an automatic, your grade drops. Automatic failure, your grade drops. Let's say you just keep doing that, F straight. If you don't pay your loan, the interest goes up. You're in problems again. Now, if you, let's say you knowingly walk off a ledge, knowing there's no support at the bottom, then you have to deal with the consequences, right? So to every action, there is a reaction.
It's interesting that we say that, and I love that we say that. I go back to the idea of identifying what qualifies as an action or a reaction. Because when we think of, oh, this is a reaction to or an action, we might actually have it mixed up. We might qualify something as an action when it might be a reaction.
So if you don't make a good choice in life and you get a bad reaction, what do you say to that?
Well, it depends, because where did you start looking at that scenario from? What's the timeline in which you looked at it? Because where you start the timeline would determine what you qualify as an action or a reaction.
If you don't complete the action, then you can't get the reaction.
But then that's the point. But what I'm saying is, okay, you're not understanding me, which is fine.
No.
I'm saying to you, we're saying for every action there is a reaction. So take you and me. If you're looking at us right now, I might do this to you and you react, and that is right now. If you take the timeline and say we rewind it, maybe I wasn't the first one to act, or maybe what I did was a reaction to something else. Precisely. So it depends on your timeline and how you qualify action and reaction. All right. Now, again, we're applying Newton's third law to life. Before you say something or take action, you should always think of the consequences, which, as you rightly said, I generally do this
Zip it.
or that, because I'm one of those people who tends to visualize what's the worst thing that can happen? How would this be perceived or misconstrued? And granted, there are variables, but generally I keep my mouth shut, which you know, which apparently is a problem, depending on when I need to speak or not, but we'll see.
So, when you kept your mouth shut, did you think of the reaction it will cause because of the action that you took?
Yes, the reaction, you see, it depends, because again, when we're examining reactions and reactions, we're talking about the physical world. So let's look at it that way. But when we're applying it to life, there might be other worlds which are actually occurring in tandem. So there might be an action that has a reaction in one world and an action that has a reaction in another world, and those two might actually never meet, but the same action could cause different reactions. So the question is, in which world are you focusing your action-reaction type thinking on?
Wow. Now you're gonna have me thinking about everything deeply today that concerns every action or reaction that I have to things. Wow.
Depends on your perspective, and that's all I'm saying. Effectively, it does depend on your perspective.
Wow. Oh, so you can change your life for the better by keeping in mind that your actions will make or break you.
Definitely so.
Because let's say we squander, well, let's say I squander all my money today. What's gonna happen in the future? How am I getting back that money? I didn't think about it. I just wanted to enjoy the pleasures of now. So I guess we always have to have a backup plan, or I'm trying to find the correct word.
Contingency plan?
Contingency plan, yes. Always in place. Okay, so to every action, there definitely is a reaction. So we definitely have to have a plan in place to ensure that the decisions we make can be pacified, or should I say pacified, so we still have something to fall back on, even if we decide to
Pacify. What do you mean?
Yeah, maybe I'll pacify for real, because me going and spend money on something that I really don't need, just because I can't buy it, and waste a little inheritance that I got, and then I have not thought of a foolproof plan on how I'm going to get back this money, or how is this thing that I bought, how is it going to accumulate the wealth that I need to put back in my fund.
Okay, that's fair.
Wow.
That's fair, because yeah, we do that from time to time. We want to feel good about ourselves, so there's something that we go, there's a splurge purchase. We do that, and then we, you know.
Right.
So it depends, right? It's interesting because you're absolutely right. Your actions might make or break you. Also, true to the point is that you should always treat your words with caution. Definitely so, because once they're spoken, they cannot be recalled.
And I think I put up something this morning that says, be mindful of what you say about yourself, because you're basically speaking a mantra over your life. And I've spoken many things, and guess what? As I said on Confession Thursday, a lot of them have come true, and I'd be like, oh, well, I said that. What am I going to do now? Because I can't take it back, right?
Yeah, and that, you know what, it's very interesting to me, because if I could apply this to my time in the classroom with people, I've had to deal with people of differing abilities, people from different backgrounds who have varying levels of self-esteem and faith in themselves. And I am very cognizant of the fact that in certain environments, the first thing that we do is to call each other down, to put it colloquially. So the students are in the environment where there are negative words being said. Perhaps they go home and there are negative words being said. The question is, what do you do to ensure that perhaps you're balancing those negative words and or you're speaking life where life needs to be? Because, again, the word spoken cannot be recalled.
Nope.
And so if your word is going to be injurious, then proceed with caution, because again, there are different levels of injury as well. It's not just injury, oh, that's it, bad, it's done. There might be different levels. So again, death and life, power of the tongue, speak life, and you'd be surprised.
Jamie, it's funny you say that about teachers. I left high school since 1999. And I still remember my English teacher telling me that I was going to fail English. And for some reason, I cannot get it out of my mind. Since we did the thing, passed it with flying colors, and I cannot get it out of my mind that she said I was going to fail, and that I had the mentality, well, okay, you think I'm going to fail? I'm going to fail just because you said. And I failed something that was paid for by the government. So I don't know if that's why I didn't value it as much. And I encourage her to speak that negativity over my life, and I bought into it. That when I had to pay for it, no, I better pass it. Because no, I'm working, I have to pay for it. And my mom was like, you intentionally failed, you're going to go and do it. So I made sure I got a job right after that. Boy, and my part-time, I saving up my money and see me getting my English, you know, and I go and see FBC, you know. But she said, you intentionally failed something that was afforded to you free, you have to go and pass it now. And you're paying with it with your own money, not mine or your dad's. And it's funny that I don't know what training teachers get, but I just think, I know sometimes as humans, and I'm not knocking the profession, things come over us and we say mean things that we probably don't mean at the moment, but as you said, once it would have left our mouths, we cannot take it back. And I know that as an individual, and some days I still let things leave my mouth.
That's it. Yeah, I hear you telling me. If I told you about the things that I heard.
Why?
If I told you about the things that I heard, right, that were normalized, you probably wouldn't be surprised. If I told you I wasn't the kind of person who said that, but I was summoned to an office because I told a student to Google something after working with them for 10 minutes on an assignment that I never gave them, staying after school to do that, realizing that they had difficulty regardless of the number of times that I tried to explain it. And so I said, you know what, why don't you Google it and come back? And what was disseminated to the authority figure was that, did you tell somebody to Google it? I was like,
so that's
wow.
all they got.
No, but that's all they got. And two, I recognized something very early. I thought, wow, because I'm quote unquote different in my approach and soft spoken, it might be such that I become a target because my approach is a little different. And I thought, well, the world is upside down. I learned to accept it, and then I went with it. That was it, right? So that's my experience in that sphere. Thankfully, not everybody, well, some people appreciated that. You've spoken to some of them, so you can see that they did that. And so the whole lesson for me is, don't take it personally. Do your best to treat people the way that you want to be treated, regardless of how they treat you.
Indeed.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard. And I know that sometimes us as humans don't make it easy for the teachers either, but yeah, we all, as we say, we want good stuff, we have to give good stuff. So we shouldn't be mean, because what goes around comes back around. Karma, she's a bad one. She waits. She waits in the bushes.
I say nothing about karma's gender. That's on you.
Well, I'm gonna name her she. We'll be waiting in the bushes for you. Pass by.
All right, we'll be back in a moment with more Good Morning SKN. Yeah.
An exotic experience.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Karen of Paris and support from Paris Lamont. I want to encourage y'all to sign on to Good Morning SKN every morning from 8 to 10 at Studio 327. Thanks.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN And a first, yes, I'm excited. The first edition of Behind the Scenes, a segment where we take you through different aspects of our media production here at Studio 327. Yes. So our first guest for this year's segment is Lemuel Shiverton. Lemuel is one of our videographers and editors here at Studio 327. Lemuel, good morning again, and welcome to the stage.
Not even welcome to the stage, because I've been on the stage for the entire morning. You just saying, see me?
That's accurate.
All of these things. So, Lem, what started your career in videography?
Okay, well, for videography, what started the career would have been the start of the business that I have, which is a photography company that I started while I was in high school with a couple of friends. And we picked it up, let's say around third, fourth form.
Okay.
So what we did, we put together money, lunch money, whatever money that we have. And we bought this used camera from, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if they're there still, Cashways, right? Okay, so they used to sell used products. And we bought this used camera and we thought, okay, we have the camera, now what do we do? So we went around, we took school photos, videos for our friends, and from there the passion really built into something else. And then while I was working on somewhere else, I heard about Studio 327 from Naim. So he mentioned that it's a new company, obviously, and it's heavily into media production. And I thought, well, that's amazing, right? And with that, I took the opportunity, had the interview, talked to our lovely boss, Gardenia Richardson, who gave us all the opportunity to be here. And here we are.
Here we are, here you are. You know what? I wish I could take credit for this segment. Did somebody steal my idea, Lemuel?
I think so.
Thank you. Because
they heard us, and I just took it and ran with it.
I believe somebody stole my idea because I've been begging for you guys to be here. I'm really glad that it's you, although I've joked about it so many times. Glad that it's you. Let's talk specifically about your duties here for the public, because I know some of them. I'm sure I don't know all of them. Right. Why don't you tell us what you do?
Okay, so let's run through it. Let's run through the day. So we come into the studio. We try to get here as early. Starting time for being here is 7 a.m. So we come in, we get here, and we set the stage, the mics, and the cameras before anything's done. Along with that, then the duties will most of fall into making sure the guests are here, making sure the guests are ready before they get on stage, prepping them beforehand, letting them know that, okay, certain things you can't do because it's live. It's not something pre-recorded that we can edit. So if you go up there and say something a little, it's not something that you could hide because the whole world is going to see it and it's going to be on the internet. So we prep them and let them know that, okay, this is that, this is this, these are your do's and don'ts. We let them know that we have our host inside. They'll make you comfortable. All you have to do, have a conversation with them.
So you lie to them. I'm kidding.
Wouldn't call it a lie, because make everyone comfortable. Every time a guest comes here, they always leave with the impression that this is something really, really professional, right? So
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't mention one thing.
What's that?
You're the guy, when we started, that used to hold his cell phone up with the countdown and be like, this is how much time you have left. And this is what you used to do. I gotta put you on the spot now. And Lemuel was like, this, by the way, means wrap it up. And that's what he used to do very, very well.
I miss the counting too. Remember the fingers, the countdown, the fingers go up and then they go down. I miss those. I miss that.
I think you've deputized somebody else. We'll talk about it later on.
See, on our next segment of Behind the Scenes, the person who now does that will be up here.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. So what do you do, Lem, during the show? You told us about the setup, etc., etc. What do you do whilst the show is happening?
Okay, so now during the show, the team that I'm on is the technical side of things. So it'd be adjusting the cameras, fixing the audio, ensuring that the live stream is going out at a quality that everyone can enjoy and it's something pleasurable to watch. Besides that, it would be also heading outside, talking to the guests. If they arrive and no one else is able to go there, then go out to speak to the guests, make sure they're comfortable, ask them if they need anything, water, coffee, whatever it might be, and that's about it.
I feel like a guest because you asked me if I needed water earlier, so thank you so much for making me comfortable, Lemuel. That's great. All right, so let's talk now about the shows that you've filmed at GMS Scan.
All right, so as of now, there are about 4 shows that we have filmed together, and each are very unique in their own right. They all have a different story to tell, a different feel to each of them, and I always thought that when you get into media production, it's basically the same thing, you know, but far from the truth. Because with each show, it comes a different set of people, a different host, and you can say crew, yes, but everybody has different responsibilities. Because in each show, we have our team leaders, our show managers, right? So the person responsible for that show would have set up the plan for the show, give it a rundown, break it down into a timeline format, go through the timing, very precise information on each episode, how this is supposed to happen from one scene to the next. And it's really delicate work. I never thought it would have been this much work, but it's really delicate work. And even though it's something more so difficult, it's still fun. It's nothing too dreary. I mean, sometimes we have late nights, sometimes early mornings, but even with that, the people that you do it with is what makes it fun.
Aww,
right?
so
Yeah, you guys are
sweet.
tight, so
Yeah.
See, like you can see on screen.
Oh, I didn't know that the minister was in your crew as well. Okay,
Right there is my work family, my work home, along with y'all. And these are the people who make my job fun, make my job very enjoyable for me.
Oh, lovely.
So it's really fun. 2 specific shows. We have Let's Do This that has already been aired, and that was actually very interesting because that was the first time we filmed in let's say a more enclosed setting. And it was very fun to watch, especially with the different entrepreneurs and how they brought across their points, how they came to sell. You would actually think like you're watching an episode of Shark Tank, which is amazing.
It was that professional,
right?
yo.
And you obviously, it was our first go at it, so there are some tweaks to be made, some things to be done, but I think we all did a really excellent job. It was a lot of hard work from the team and others, and everyone who was involved did an amazing job, and I can't do nothing but compliment them on the work that they did.
Can I ask, was that the most enjoyable and memorable thing you have filmed, edited, etc. thus far?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
The most memorable for me has to be another show that is coming. Is At the Feet of the Elders.
Oh,
Now,
how soon can we expect that?
Yeah, well, it should be really soon actually, because we're in the finishing stages of post-production.
Okay.
But that show in particular was actually very fun to film, because certain things you wouldn't expect from older folk, because it's a show about the elderly and learning at their feet, hearing what they have to say and what they've done, what they've contributed. And it was actually very interesting. I never knew certain people had that depth of knowledge.
Wow.
And it's really interesting to see and hear, and then capturing this and putting in it a format where everyone could have a chance to see it and everyone could have a chance to enjoy it. It's amazing.
All right, well, we're going to take a break and we'll be back to talk with you more on the other side of it.
No cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We are back with Lemuel Shiverton, one of our videographers and editors here at Studio 327, talking all about that experience. So let's get right back into it, Lemuel. Of all the things that you've done, what do you consider among filming, editing, well, between filming, editing, production, post-production, any of that, most difficult?
Okay, what I would say the most difficult is the filming, because it's much more time consuming than the editing, and for that you need to make less errors. In editing you could fix that, but in filming, if it's filmed, it's filmed, and you have that. And now to call whoever back or to go back to where you were and try to refilm or recapture that moment is something very, very hard to do. So I would definitely say filming is the harder part, especially if there's things you can't control, like the weather, how people speak, their mannerisms, that kind of thing. It's very, very hard to predict. But I think in some ways, if you have, let's say, the right approach to it, like before you go and film, you sit them down and you say, okay, so this is what we're gonna do. This is how I would like you to do. This is the energy I would like you to bring. Giving people those kind of pointers and letting them know that this is what we're looking for, this is what we're trying to create, it makes that process a lot easier. Yeah.
You mentioned starting up with your friends. Where else would you have garnered your skills that you have amassed to present day?
Okay, so for the skills that I have, most of them are self-taught, but I have learned a lot while being here. But before getting here, in college, what I did was I spoke to people in the field. Okay. I spoke to people who are already professionals and they already know what they're doing. I asked them certain things like what's your price range for this? How would you go about approaching a client about, let's say, a shoot on the outside, a shoot on the inside? What varies in those fields? And my biggest question, my biggest question to each of them would be, what camera would you would you say is the best camera to have? And that's always a tricky question because everyone has their preferences. Mm-hmm. Some people are Canon people, some people are Sony people. So it's a very tricky question, but I have gotten several answers and I have settled on one that I will have in time, but that's for a later date.
We have to wait.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, so back to your amassing funds to buy the camera and all of that, because you said something that I really want to jump off on now about buying cameras, and I'm thinking the cost of entry into this career, into this profession. Was the barrier high or low for you in terms of where you want to be even further on in terms of buying equipment to get better shoots, get better things going on? Cost of entry, is it still something that you're struggling with?
Well, yes, it's still something that I struggle with, but to enter into it, it's not that bad as some may make it seem, because I think I would like to say to any aspiring photographer, videographer, whoever, you don't need a completely fancy camera to start your work. You should always start with something basic, something beginner friendly, and then work your way up from there, because then you get familiar with what you're doing. You get familiar with the craft, the instruments, and how you produce your product. Because now, let's say I bought a camera at around $400, $500, but knowing that I could have bought a camera for about $2,000. If something were to happen to said camera in my beginning stages, then it would be starting from ground zero all over again. So I would always say start with a beginner friendly camera, something lightweight, something that you know you can control, and then go there. No matter what it is, it might be something you're invited to, like a wedding, a party, anything that you could capture it, because practice makes permanent. Practice doesn't make perfect. So you go about, you practice, you shoot. On top of this, now you go, you learn, you ask questions, you go on, experiment, and that's how you get better.
I'm going to steal that from you, by the way. Practice makes permanent.
Permanent, yeah, I like that. Where is that camera that you folks sort of bought?
That camera is very much still well and alive. My friend has it, my good friend Vidal, he has it. I don't think he uses it anymore, but we're all now on different paths. He's actually a local artist of ours. For somebody who was on Let's Do This, I don't know if you remember Shakid of Red Rocket Records. He's now signed to that label, and that's who he's producing his music with. I'm very happy for him. He is still interested in the, you know, the media aspect of things. He still goes, he takes his videos for music, he still vlogs and what's not. And I feel like that's the drive, that's the people I would love to be around, because he went from us going, buying a camera, playing our own time with it. Now he's out here making local music, providing something, making a name for himself in the nation. I'm beyond proud.
That's sweet, that's sweet.
You're talking about pride. I'm just proud that you're here expressing yourself so well about the craft that you love, and you've articulated it really well. Did we hit all the nails on the head? Because I mean, I put you on the spot about the timer and the hand and so on. Is there anything else? Do I get any other cues that Lemuel does? Because I joke with you that you remind me of me. I say it all the time, but I'm kind of serious.
All the time.
I said, Lemuel reminds me of me. If you want to know what that means, you're not going to know. This is behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and stays
behind the scenes. So, Lam, as we affectionately call him around here, let's talk about Black Arts Media now. Inspiration for that name?
Okay, so the inspiration for Black Arts Media came from, well, a family thing. My mother is a creative as well. She makes handmade cards, right? So she's very, very artistic, and that's where I get my creative side from. That's where my creative genes come from, and I thank her for that, obviously.
Thank you, Mama.
And now with that, she always, like, with her art style, she loves to capture the culture that we hold as a people, right? And I always thought that no matter where I go, no matter who I'm with or what I'm doing, I feel like my culture, my people, my heritage, what I'm proud of, that always has to stay with me. So that's where the name come from. Black for, you know, arts, because you're in the arts. This is media, and a media production company. Okay. So that's how it's broken down, and we just gave it the acronym BAM.
I was about to ask, because I was spelling it in my head. I'm like, okay, initials, B-A-M.
B-A-M,
BAM.
And that's the effect we want to give to you. I give you some work, I get to you, I make anything for you, a product, BAM.
Sounds
got me?
It ought to wow you, right? You
exactly.
Ought to be captivated by it. All right. Okay, so you've obviously watched this business grow over the years. What are your greatest accomplishments, if I can ask you?
Well, my greatest accomplishment thus far has been a solo shoot wedding. I don't have a team. I don't have that much equipment, but I was tasked with photographing and videographing a wedding, which was actually pretty difficult for a one-man thing because that is a team effort. You go from the day off, when they're getting ready, when the bride is getting her dress on, the groom is prepping himself for the wedding, they're running over their vows, everything, the entire ceremony. And I always thought that, you know, it's just a wedding. We go, we shoot, we get the kiss, we get the applause, everyone throwing confetti. It's much more than that. You go from very much top to bottom in what we do. And that has to be my most creditable feat thus far. But I do hope when I get my hands on the dream camera that I'm looking for to join a group. I don't know if you know them, but it's a group that I'm very passionate about. And it's a group of creators, photographers and videographers called Supreme Media, right? And one of their members was right here in the same seat when you interviewed BTS Roland. That's my guy, right? So now when I do get that camera, when I do step into photography and videography again, I will still do my business with Black Ass Media, of course, because that's like a child to me. And I think that it would just help me and give me the exposure, align myself with a group like Supreme. Because when I say these are talented young people, they are amazing. The work they put out is top tier.
I was actually looking to see if I could see some more of your work as you talk about it, but yeah, it's gone. Because we saw glimpses of it as it was going on. Really good stuff, Lemuel. How do people find you, though? Social media? Phone?
Social media. Well, you could always contact my personal social media at yoggi.i, Siogi, right? And you could always get me at Black Arts Media. It's at Black Arts Media, right? And I have business cards and all that at home. So if you see me, you stop me, you need me, I give you my card. If you need my number, it's 669-2518. You could contact me whenever you need to.
Any plans to hire employees for a future wedding? Because imagine running from the groom suite to the bride suite. Oh boy, I feel for you.
I do plan to hire. I have no idea when though, because then we would need the funds to hire. But after I become more established, I do more gigs, I get myself on a proper footing, then I would also think of expanding and hiring and actually sharing out tasks, because being the sole proprietor of a company is not as easy as it looks, which is why I appreciate people who start businesses on their own, because it's not easy. It's a very, very hard thing to do, managing not just your finances, but your social media, your clientele, your equipment. You have to go through and make sure all these check boxes are done and they're done properly, because this is your business, this is what you are investing into, and so it's a hassle.
When you look back on the work that you've done, you might even be surprised that you did it.
Exactly, and sometimes by yourself, because sometimes I also think that going on that venture, taking a step to being a sole proprietor it's a big risk, and people, no matter who it might be your friends, your family, would always have a doubt in it. But I think that doubt should be used as a motivator, because when you do what you do and you succeed, you have a right to say that, you know, I did that.
I like that.
Exactly.
I like that.
You're giving me all sorts of sayings to attribute to you now, you know. I'm going to steal that one too.
And then before you go, I have one last question. Did you ever thought, this is not for me and I'm just going to quit, because as you said, maybe you had some naysayers. Did that ever cross your mind?
That thought has crossed my mind, but I think that if I were to just up and give up on what I'm doing, it wouldn't give an attest to who I am, my character.
I like that.
I'm a very, very sore loser. You could ask my teammates about that. I'm a sore loser. I do not like to lose. So me giving up on anything is a absolute no for me.
I like that.
So even if it's hard, even if I struggle a bit, even if I don't get up as fast as I can, we can get it done somewhere.
And there's no giving up in BAM, is there?
That's right. That's right.
No, just BAM.
Lemuel, it's been a pleasure talking with you this way, because we talk back and forth all the time. So now you see who Lemuel is.
Yeah.
Thank you for being our very first guest in this segment. And in time, you'll see some others who, yeah, you're going to have to bring them up here.
I have
because
one.
I see the look.
3.
I see one trying to run away.
Wow.
Right behind me.
Yes.
So
Yes.
don't worry, the time is coming. You'll see them all soon, and you can love them and appreciate them how I do.
Oh,
Right?
oh Lord, you're gonna make me cry now. More GMSKN after this, ladies and gentlemen. That was Mr. Lemuel Shibute.
See it.
An exotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
Good morning, SKN. Wagwan. Yo, this is Bensley Lad coming to you live from Jamaica. You see it, go already. See me. I say Caribbean people stand up and I love this. This show is very important. You understand me? Yeah, man. Studio 327. Bensley Lad, say big up. See me, I say. I'm the whole innocent crew. Yeah, man. More love.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. It is time for another installment of Time Machine. This time we're taking it all, no, we're not taking it all the way back. No, it's not all the way back. We're taking it back 40 years. Why are you aging people with all the way back? You make it sound like it was so long ago. In any event, I'll read it as you wrote it. This time we're taking it all the way back to over 40 years. To the 80s. Oh, that was so long ago I could barely remember my childhood. Anyway, here are some things the 80s were known for in 4 categories: movies, fashion, serials, and video games. So you guys at home, in the office, wherever you are, you can join in on the conversation and let us know in the comments if you remember any of these items. Of course, you'd have to be from all the way back
in the 80s.
In the 80s. In any event, here we go.
Jamie, you said that, right? And suddenly I have a craving for Kellogg's cornflakes.
Oh boy.
I'm like, what's this?
It's because you don't let me like cereal. That's not on me. That's all on me. All right, so we're gonna take a look at movies from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Who are you gonna call? No.
Yeah, I actually thought this was a good movie.
I know. Listen, to think that what we had back then and we thought was good to what we see now.
Yeah.
It looks really crappy, right?
Yes, it does actually.
I'd be like,
it does.
Why we thought this was so cool then?
Can I remember who the original Ghostbusters were? I see maybe 3 of them. Dan Aykroyd, Phil. Is that Phil? I don't remember who he is now. The guy in the back, I don't remember at all. I just call him tall, nerdy dude. That's it. But I think the others, I definitely do remember.
And the black guy, I remember. I don't remember the tall one, and I remember the one with the. Who is he again? His name is not coming to me.
Isn't it Dan Aykroyd?
No, the one with the little curly top. He had
Bill Murray. Isn't that
Bill
it?
Murray.
Bill Murray. Yeah.
Bill Murray. Yeah.
Wow, so apparently we remember, so we're not that old yet. We're not forgetting yet, guys.
We're 35.
We're actually remembering these things.
Yeah. Who you gonna call? Goats, and the ghost was so weird.
Oh yeah. And the song was weird, and the vehicle was weird.
Oh, everything was weird. No,
But the 80s weren't.
I know. The 80s were hits.
Well,
we're from there.
Yeah. I love this little guy. I love this little guy.
Oh my god.
The movies. Listen, I loved this little guy. The voice that goes along with it, the eyes, everything about it. Listen.
Gremlins.
Yeah. Couldn't get enough.
The things we watched and thought they were cool.
No, this is cool. What are you talking about? No,
But
this.
no,
cool.
Jamie, to look at the production now and back then. Oh my gosh. They put the 80s to shame.
Hey, it's still cool.
Yeah, but I'm glad I experienced the era though. Glad I experienced it. Wouldn't change it for the world. Wow.
The voice, love it.
Tom Cruise.
The incomparable Tom Cruise.
And now he's back.
I saw a picture of his mate. I think I looked for it maybe like 6 months ago.
Mm.
She's aged pretty well.
Mm.
Well, yeah. Yes.
And I was going to say that too, because that Tom Cruise, I don't find it looks good as the aged Tom Cruise.
What are you talking about? People are making fun of Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is a guy who's 5'7". He went to a baseball game.
I like the aged Tom Cruise.
You like the aged Tom Cruise? You don't. What's wrong with this one?
I don't know. I don't like the youth. I like the mature Tom Cruise. To me, the mature Tom Cruise looks better. I swear, the mature Tom Cruise looks better.
I don't know. It depends.
Yeah,
but
she aged nice.
Guy's 5'7". Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he aged nice, handsomely.
I don't know about that. I just know that he always looks good opposite his leading ladies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's good.
Him and Pierce Brosnan. I don't know how they do it, but they got it. Oh man.
You got it.
I don't remember 3 Men and a Baby.
Well,
but
you don't.
I remember him from Magnum PI and everything else.
You're missing life, Hortensia. 3 Men and a Baby.
I don't remember
Are you
this
kidding?
show. No.
This was so funny.
No.
And he's that much I remember. No, it was a movie.
Oh, it was a movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't.
3 Men and a Baby.
No. Mm-mm.
Interesting premise, though. Anyway, I'm not even gonna tell you what it is. You guys go check it out if you want to. Really good.
3 Men and a Baby.
Funny guys.
A baby's in for trouble.
I've always been a fan of Tom Selleck anyway, so hey, works out.
Magnum PI. That's the only thing I can remember him from, actually.
Blue Bloods. He's in Blue Bloods.
I don't watch those things.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No,
He's there.
I don't watch series like that.
Yeah. I don't watch television. All right, going on to fashion.
Ooh, and the socks are back. The Bobby socks.
Yeah, thankfully I don't remember that.
The feet warmers, I would call those. Those are warmers, because mostly the dancers wore them.
Yeah.
But I like the Bobby socks era, especially when we could have, the white ones where we could have made our own style. You never did that?
No.
I enjoyed the Bobby socks era, but these warmers, no, I never had a pair of those.
Wow.
They were always in.
Yeah, you can't miss them, can you?
And the superhero style, wearing the brief over the tights.
Oh, that? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, superhero style is in. But all these shorts are back though. The blazers, the shirts, the same. Hey, we really recycle style, and then everybody say, oh, new style now, recycle style. They just zhuzh it up a bit. That's all.
The only constant is change.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what's next. We've got, oh yeah, neon colors, baby.
Colors, as we call them.
You call them what?
Shocking colors.
That's what you call them. Okay,
Yeah,
no.
shocking colors.
Okay. Neon.
Shocking color socks. Shocking color dress. Yeah.
The kind of things you wear when it's really dark so you don't get knocked down. Yeah, neon colors. Yeah,
Yep.
especially the green. Wow.
Saved by the Bell era. They were full of neons and those blazers, and oh my gosh, they had it all.
This is like really good exercise gear, by the way. It keeps you safe. At least it should. All right, yeah, really good exercise gear.
Yep. And look, they associated the neon colors with the breakdancing because we knew once this cut of that board, everybody was in these high colors back in them days. Oh man, I wanted to learn to breakdance, you know, but I never had the courage to do those extras.
Here's your moment, Coach. I'd say take it away.
Now that I'm at the age where I can break something immediately, I'm gonna try breakdance.
Well, that would be a different kind of breakdance, wouldn't it? All right.
I'll be broken down. Oh, ooh.
Lots of spandex.
What?
Yeah?
And they're back now, huh?
Okay.
Good John Travolta. Even the belts are back though. And the off the shoulders and the not the tidy whiteys, but the tidy blackies. But the muscle guys like to wear those shirts. Oh man. Tights are back. You see? Tights are back, colors are back, lines are back. Your recycled abuse style. That's all it is.
I can't get over the hairstyle. Like big hair, you know, the heavy makeup, all that stuff.
That's
like
the
every one
only
of
thing
those
that's
ladies.
not back though. But heavy makeup is in, but it's toned down. But you see like how they had the extra pink.
There we go.
Oh, big hair. Big hair is always gonna be in. Big hair is going nowhere. It's just nicer now.
Okay, that's Cher. That's
Yeah.
Whitney Houston. Is that Kelly Preston? It kind of looks like her.
It does.
Wow. Well, Cher. I mean, Cher never goes out of style, does she?
Oh my.
Neither does her hair.
Do you see how nice that woman still looks for her age? I saw the other night was blue. I'm like,
Okay, must be the young boyfriend that she's been alleged to have. He was
So
about
guys, now you know the
36
secret.
or 37 or something like
Get a
that.
young one.
Really? Okay.
It's working for her. Who says it's not gonna work for everybody else?
I'm not advocating anything here. I'm just talking about big hair. Okay.
Okay, guys, we're just talking about big hair. We're just talking about big hair. Just big hair.
We
Now
go
for
on.
the food.
Yeah, serious.
Y'all haven't had breakfast yet. Cookie crisp. Oh my gosh, I remember this.
Wow. Yeah, not my favorite, but yeah, I had it. Just to deviate from cornflakes. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, no, not my favorite. But I always like the advertisement. The man trying to steal and the police and the dog.
Yeah.
Listen. Yep.
I honestly think that the commercials sold these more than the taste did.
Yep.
So.
Indeed.
You think of the packaging. It's attractive to younger people, and the advertisement was good. So.
Is this still in silo? Is Cookie Crisp still on the shelf? That shows I don't look at cereal. Oh my gosh. Guys, let us know in the comment when last you see. What? Oh, it's Kellogg's.
Like what? Okay, this is all the way back. Seriously, because I don't know what that is. Right?
That is
I don't know
the
what
guy
that
from
is.
Star Wars, the robot.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the cereal.
Yeah, the
I don't know what that is.
CPD.
What is that?
Gosh.
CP3.
So what kind of cereal was this? And it was from Kellogg's. I don't know. Was it Cheerios? Oh.
No, they look more like honeycombs, to be honest. So I don't know what. No.
No, I don't remember this at all. No, I guess maybe when free Star Wars mask. Yeah, I used to look forward to the things that used to come in the bags, you know. You remember when Cheetos started putting those round things in the bag? I don't know. We used to collect them and put them in rubber bands and then just stretch them out and they spin and they, yeah.
No.
No.
What is this?
I never remember this.
Berry Crunch?
Oh gosh, that probably was
Just
sweet.
saying it. It feels like I should know it, and maybe I saw it, but it just sounds wrong. And why is it not blue?
But maybe this came out from a movie too. But it's blue and red. But it's mostly red because I guess Papa Smurf is a star because he's the only Smurf that wears red.
Well, yeah, I guess. Smurf Berry Crunch.
I always wondered, how come there wasn't a grandma Smurf? And how come there was only one Smurfette and she was the only girl with blonde hair?
That's a conversation for another day.
And how come they had so many Smurfs and no reproduction was happening there? Anyway,
Wasn't Smurfette created though? But that's a conversation for another day. She was created.
Oh.
All right, so we ET cereal, yeah, because I really want to go out of this world. Like, yeah, extraterrestrial.
I don't remember this.
Like,
Folks, for those of you who remember, link us in the comment. Let us know if you remember these cereals. But so the cereal was his finger?
ET cereal. Do you want to eat the finger, Cortez? Come on.
I'm looking at it how it is. Look in the bowl, Jamie. It looks like round fingers. Oh my God.
Oh, I'm gonna keep my fingers over here, okay? You might want to say goodbye. I don't know.
It looks like hooks. It looks like Cheetos. Imagine Cheetos and milk. Well, I can't knock it because Cheeto and condensed milk should be a hit. Yeah, that I can't eat anymore. But oh my God, no. General Mills, wow.
Even the cereal looks strange.
I know. Right. Stranger Things. Ooh, video games. Didn't know.
Super Mario Brothers.
Listen, this was a hit.
Of course it was. There was little Mario, and then he'll die, and then he'll get to the mushroom, and he'll enlarge. Okay.
And these were the days of blow your cartridge when they're not working properly.
Yep. Yeah. Who knew about online? Nobody.
Nobody. We played together. Online, we're so distant. I think online is making us socially, because we don't have to deal with people anymore. There we fought, we pull away the controls when we think somebody was cheating, we pull out the cartridge and walk with it.
Sounds so civilized, Cortencia. Gee, you know.
At least we were together, we were having fun.
I can see how we can be socially inept just because we're online now. Thank you for that. All right.
No, we needed the fun.
Tetris.
Oh, I still play Tetris.
Great strategy game.
Yep.
Especially when they start to speed up, right?
Yep,
You've got limited time to do that.
You have to put it in the correct place. We had great games.
Isn't there a movie out right now, Tetris? Yes, there is, right? Or it's coming, right? Yeah, it is coming. I saw the trailer, right? In the interview with the guy, yeah. Okay. Who, by the way, said that he didn't play Tetris growing up, but he probably shouldn't have said that.
But he made.
He's a star in the movie. Yeah,
okay. Gotcha.
Oh, this is when I knew I learned. This is how I knew I could shoot. Okay, like I would be this far away from the screen. I don't even have to focus. I literally would just do this, and it gets it in the eye. It's like wow.
Well, yeah, Duck Hunt was a hit too. That was the next game we played in the summer.
I think we need to bring the Duck Hunt back.
So who are we shooting?
So we'll put down the real guns. Bring this back, can we?
Oh my gosh.
Duck Hunt. And that dog. It's like,
Pac-Man! Hyenas, and it's just going through like eating stuff.
This was really cool in arcades, you know. I mean, I think I remember going to arcades and playing Pac-Man. Yeah. It was awesome.
Listen, things in everybody's era, I'm sure they were cool, but our era was cooler because the sound of Pac-Man, that was very... You just know that someone's playing a video game. Pac-Man made you know a video game was being had. That and Mario Brothers. Guys, I hope you had as much fun as we did going through that time machine segment. Let us know in the comments what you remember, what were your favorites, and stay tuned. We will see you after this.
cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Good morning, this is Carol from Lux Carnival, and I listen to Good Morning SKN.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN, and it is that time of the day when we let you know what is happening. So the Department of Youth Empowerment is pleased to announce that nominations for the 25 Most Remarkable Teens 2023 are officially open. So guidelines for submissions are nominees must be no younger than 13 years old by the end of the nomination year, and nominees must also be no older than 19 years old by the end of the nomination year. Nominees must have demonstrated capacity in the nominated category and have a record of remarkable character, contributions to society, and accomplishments. Successful nominees are required to fully participate in a 12 months of capacity building and community service program. And successful nominees and their parents must sign a confidentiality agreement. No mention of success is to be discussed before the awards. The deadlines for nomination submission is May 26, so you still have some time, 2023. Forms have already been sent to schools and are also available at the Department of Youth office located on the 3rd floor of the Cable building of Keon Street. So march on up those stairs, get your little workout, and collect your forms.
Yeah, in that order, right? All right. So, yeah, it would be interesting to see, and I keep saying this every time we talk about this, where are they now? So you've got 25, most remarkable teens.
How many
That's just the point,
now?
because it's been going on for quite a while.
Jamie?
So it's like, if you could follow them and see what they're doing.
Idea.
Then
where are they now?
That would be an interesting one. Hi. That's just me. Where are they now?
Where are they now?
Oh,
we just had one on our show, y'all. We didn't even know. Congratulations. So now we know where Lem is. So now we got to find the others. And he continues to do great things.
Why did you do this to me after Lemuel left the platform?
Yeah, we could have asked him about that.
Wow.
You want to come back?
All right, we're just prolonging that segment because we had so much fun with it. Anyway, you guys, as you watch, will have, I guess, equal amounts of fun as you get to know who's behind the scenes, who's behind the camera, who's on the teleprompter, doing all these other things at Studio 327. I'm not going there with you. That's strictly your title. You coined it. You keep it. You call it what it is. There it is. All right, so in any event, this is the time of day when I say to you, thank you for joining us on Good Morning SKN. We invite you to tune in daily to get a little bit of everything for everyone. So we're encouraging you to get your friends and family to watch, because that's how you get to everyone, right? Yep. Remember to follow us on our social media platforms, including Facebook and YouTube at Studio 327 Inc. and on Instagram at Good Morning SKN. So you see it, right? We're on Instagram twice. I keep saying that. So it's Studio 327 Inc. That's the handle. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We're also on Instagram at Good Morning SKN, which is the page specifically created for this show. We're also encouraging you to check out our website at www.studio327.com. Learn more about GMSKN and Studio 327. And I paused after 2 W's because I hate it when people go WW and give you the site. It's 3 W's, not 2.
Oh, well, we hope you enjoyed today's show as much as we did. We want to thank all our guests for coming. And as I always say, if you know someone that wants to be on Good Morning SKN, let us know. You have to let us know so we can have them on. This is the part of the show where I said, leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part of today's show. And see you tomorrow, Friday. Yes, this week doesn't end at Thursday. It ends at Friday at 8 a.m. When you wake up, grab your coffee, stretch, turn on your device. Even at work, come on, bosses, work with us. Make mornings fun. Thank you for watching as usual, and see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. right here on Good Morning SKN. Thank you, guys. Bye.